Hello and welcome back to EV Platform. Myself and Derek are very excited about what we're talking about today, and that is the Mercedes-Benz VISION EQXX. And this is the car that they say is going to have 1,000 kilometers range. Let's get stuck into the details.
That's right, Blake. Super excited here to just watch the premiere. We weren't lucky enough to be there, but we have taken down all the notes and we know what we're talking about. So this came from the concept car that was the AVTR that was announced and released and shown at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show in 2020, before the world went a bit crazy. So that was in partnership with James Cameron from the Avatar movie. And if you remember, Blake, it was the one that had the moving fins on the back window, and it was very aero, very futuristic with these massive tires. But what Mercedes were trying to do was look at, okay, how are we going to conquer this 1,000 kilometer range? And what they've said is that need to look at air, need to look at gravity, and they need to look at energy. So the three things that they've looked at is in 1938, they developed a car called the Recordwagen, and that was all about aero, beautiful silhouette. 1968, they had the C111, and that was all about being lightweight and strong. And then we have, since 2007, Mercedes working on their battery technology. So air, gravity, and energy. And that has combined to give us the Mercedes-Benz VISION EQXX.
Yeah, look, let's talk about the exterior, what it looks like for a minute. I mean, for me, when I first saw it, oh, what? Yeah, okay. But then you remind yourself, okay, it's a concept car. They're trying to do something pretty incredible here. And then once I settled into it, once I was looking at it for a little bit, as it got through the premiere, I thought, oh yeah, that is actually a beautiful machine. Really reminiscent of the Lightyear One. Once you move towards the back end of it, for me, at the front, that digital tiger face that you get in the Kia EV6 reminds me of that. And then there's the little bit of the Porsche Taycan in there from the side profile as well. But I think it's a beautiful looking thing. The images that we're seeing so far that they've been shown, big wheels as well. But I love the wheels. They're aero wheels filled in, as we're seeing in so many EVs these days, which is great. But the inside of it, that just reminds me of copper coiling, from an induction charger or something like that. But yeah, high lines there at the door frames as well. Really sleek. They're going to be put solar panels on the roof, which is quite exciting. So you might get 15, 20, 25 kilometers a day in good climates out of that. But, yeah, I think it's really, really good. I can imagine myself, following this thing down the motorway with that rear diffuser kicking out at 60 kilometers an hour. So it looks really futuristic. But anyway, Derek, what about the inside?
Speaking of the wheels and that copper/rose gold, they're bringing those colors on the inside. Mercedes are great for it, and their design language. It has a single side-to-side vertical screen, beautifully designed as we're used to in Mercedes-Benz's, but also sustainability, environmentally friendly materials, thinking about efficiency and how lightweight stuff is going to be. So lightweight seats, pull handles on the doors. So interior wise, and we haven't seen too much of it. We don't know much about the technology inside it, but looks beautiful inside as much as it looks beautiful outside. And it's all leading to that 1,000-kilometer range that we talked about, Blake. And what are we kicking off with on that side of things?
Yeah, well, look, you've got some details, specifics on it, but one thing that I want to just talk about is 95% energy efficiency. So energy that's been stored in the battery, putting that into the wheels for forward motion, incredibly efficient. And one of the things I love about this car, I'm going to touch on that afterwards when we have a little bit of a discussion about this. But Derek, give some more of the details on, battery range. What are we talking about here?
So they haven't gone with a huge battery, which at some manufacturers say, let's put bigger and bigger batteries in to get more range. So what they're saying is they've taken the benchmark of the EQS, which is a beautiful car, very efficient as well. And they've said, right, we want to have a battery that is 50% less volume and 30% lighter. So it starts to be a bit mind-blowing. It won't be over 100 kilowatt hours worth of energy. So it is not a huge battery. It is over 900 volts architecture. So that is going to be, it's going to charge fast as well if it can get the charging stations that put it out. Energy consumption, it's going to be efficient in the sense of it's going to be single digit kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers. In imperial terms, that's going to be greater than 6 miles per kilowatt hour. Drag coefficient, and you talked about the rear diffuser that comes out over 60 kilometers an hour. This has a drag coefficient claimed of 0.17. Now, we saw an amazing drag coefficient from the EQS at 0.2, which matched the EV1 back in the day from General Motors, but the EQS holds the current most slippery electric vehicle out there, and they've just smashed it out of the park with this 0.17. Blake, what are your thoughts?
They really have, yeah. I mean, like the EQS was hugely impressive at that point too, and I think maybe the EV1 was a fraction smaller, 0.19 something, or I can't remember, Derek. We'll have to check that up. But what I love about this, and I think to get the discussion going on this, is that they're chasing efficiency, not range. Range is to an extent a byproduct. Maybe that's not fair to say, but it's just they're the three pillars that you talked about earlier on. But the battery is going to be air cooled, so there's a big plate underneath it, so they can cut down on the componentry there. And they're just saying that it's so efficient. We get so much out of the battery that we're not creating the heat that you need the cooling for. That might raise issues for preconditioning for charging and stuff like that. We'll get back to that as well. I remember seeing the guys, the engineers, talking about the computer within the car, its processing capability, and how they're cutting down on energy use there, just doing a lot more with it, so they don't need the same amount of circuitry and things like that. And it's all just about making these minute gains, just to drop it down, make it that little bit lighter. You talk about the battery being so much smaller, being lighter as well, and it's chasing efficiency. And I'm so happy that they're doing that, as opposed to saying, okay, 1,000-kilometer car. Well, we have the EQS, let's just put 125 kilowatt hours into that, and then we got it. They're not doing that. They're getting their Formula One team involved. Apparently it's the whole of Mercedes just come together to make this, and I'm really excited about that. Derek, what's your thoughts on it? What's the discussion piece for you? I haven't seen this.
You're talking about the whole of Mercedes coming together and using the Formula One team. It's amazing what can be achieved when everybody has the same goal. And this is an 18-month project, and we can just see how things are moving so fast. One thing that does concern me is, are all long-range electric vehicles going to be this shape? Is that the shape of things to come? Are we looking at long, sleek, teardrop looking things that you can barely differentiate it because it will affect that drag coefficient? Are the urban vehicles that are going to run around cities, are they going to be boxy cubes? That's what I'm concerned about, but I'm really excited about what they've done in such a short period of time. And I know Mercedes-Benz aren't the only ones thinking it's like this. More and more other manufacturers. So this has put a flag in the ground for 2022 to say, we're here now, let's get moving along.
Yeah, and it's really it's putting that bar so much higher. The king of the road, the king of the highway has been the Model S for nearly a decade now, with incredible ranges. And Lucid came along and just poked them with a stick. Oh, yeah, guy, we're actually a little bit further than you. Mercedes were there with the EQS. Now they're coming out with the Vision EQXX, and the boundaries has been pushed so far. And we're starting to get EVs now that will go farther than some other combustion counterparts, which is just incredible. And especially if you put them in mountain passes or in heavy traffic or something like that, where a combustion engine is going to be much less efficient. So it's pretty incredible. And I just, for me as well, hats off to Mercedes, because I have been critical of them in the past. Myself and you, we both were in a big Mercedes SUV there, 2.5 ton, and the efficiency was terrible. Compromised car, of course. So fair play to Mercedes for not just stuffing batteries into one of their regular cars, and for really pushing the envelope on this one.
Absolutely. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's quick review of the Mercedes-Benz Vision EQXX. We've literally just watched the premiere. We're getting this video out as soon as we could. We unfortunately weren't lucky enough to be on site, but that will come for us down the line. Next time. Exactly. So let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure you like the video. Make sure if you haven't already subscribed to the channel. And this has been EV Platform.
Thank you very much for watching.